This is the face of the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. We've watched him grow from the early times with Patrick Mahomes and that defense that didn't really do much, was just trying to get you in third and long situations and then turn the football over, to now where they have really gotten better against the run. They're sound defensively. We still see the Steve Spagnuolo blitzing and craziness from time to time, but what they do from a soundness perspective, and they're always seemingly in the right spots, are why he's become the best coordinator in the NFL. And those second half adjustments really key in and flow through everything. And it's why we see the Chiefs really hold teams under 28 points for the 30th straight game. When you have these guys bought in like this is how you get plays like this to end the game against the Denver Broncos, where, yeah, they probably should have won that football game, Denver. And then you see Leo Chanel, George Karlaftis, all these players out there putting their bodies on the line to make sure they can get a field goal block on the last play of the football game. Today, we are talking about the defense, honestly, how they were taken advantage of a little bit in that second quarter-ish area by the Broncos, and then how they adjusted and got better, sounder, and really started to change the picture on Bo Nix, and then got after him in the second half. Welcome to the RGR Football Channel. My name is Daniel Harms, Senior Film Analyst. And if you guys are new, please hit that sub button right now. Become a member here at Rogue Nation as we get into the film room today. And while I go through this, allow me to earn a like for you guys, because we have lots and lots to talk about, lots to learn, as I always do. So we're going to start off right here. One of the bigger things that I did notice early in this game, into the second quarter, was the run defense. You see right here, typically what the Chiefs like to do is get somebody in the backfield, whether it's a linebacker or a defensive tackle, defensive end, kind of knifing in. This right here by the Broncos is just walled up, running a little bit of duo right here, and you're going to have Audric Estime come just right out to the outside on the left-hand side of the offensive line, and then just get a good chunk yards. In the second half of this game, they only were able to amass a I don't remember how many yards they got, but the longest rush they had in the second half was 8 yards. So this one right here goes for 10, and this is really where I thought the Chiefs, again, we're taking advantage of a little bit. The linebackers getting caught on some blocks, but when you run a good duo play like they do right here, you got 2 blocks here, you got 2 double team right here, and then their job is to just pick up those linebackers. So you got Nick Bolton trying to come downhill right here. He's going to get picked up, and then there's just nobody there. You also, Leo's on the backside making sure that no one's getting around, and then the fullback comes out here and seals the edge where Drew Tranquil is. So you have all of these different blocks, and there's nowhere to go for the defense. So really nice job from the Broncos up front in this game, being able to get holes, get to the outside, create lanes for the running backs, and they did a really nice job of doing that for the large portion of the first half. And then honestly, with all of those different things, they were able to really give Bo Nix a lot of time. They could run play action, they could do all that, but this right here is just a pure fundamental miss, right? They have everything clogged up early in the play. They're only rushing 3. They bring down, Justin Reed into this backside here, but this is another problem. Look, they've got running back out of the flat, and he's wide open. It feels like on this play, I don't really know what his responsibility is, because he takes that outside angle initially to go with the running back, and then he goes after Bo Nix. One, because I would imagine his eyes are looking downfield, so he's going to try and take advantage of that and go maybe get a sack or something. And that's, leaving him out there one way or the other is not a great thing to do. You're hoping that someone comes over, but the attention from Chiefs players are everywhere else right here. So you have the defense doing a good job clogging the middle of the field where they're trying to attack. Honestly, this is a really good defense. First and foremost, look at Jaden Hicks coming down here. Then you've got everyone kind of attacking those break points right there. Nowhere to go with the football for Bo Nix. 3-man rush, and then there's Justin Reed putting his hands up. And this is where you see it come kind of go to hell as Bo Nix gets out of the pocket here. 2 Chiefs players. We've got Josh Uche, and I believe it's Chamari Connor going to attack downhill at Bo Nix, and that just leaves Vele open on the left-hand side of the offense, or the field, and Najee Johnson's in a tough spot because he's got he's got downfield responsibility as well. So he's got to kind of be in two places at once. And when you have a player down here in this area, it's hard for him to really get there when his responsibilities change as well. So just a little bit of coverage busts there. They got everything clogged up initially. The 3-man rush isn't getting home. They do a little bit of, they get a little bit of pressure, moving him out of the pocket a little bit here and there. But overall, that play right there is indicative of what they were doing in this first half. There were a lot more busted coverages in general. And this is another one of those examples. 4-man rush isn't going to get home here, but you have two players wide open over the middle of the field. And why is that? Why are they wide open right here? Both of these Denver Bronco players are wide open, and there's 4 defensive players for the Chiefs in this small area. Well, miscommunications. We have some problems with just this play between Najee Johnson and Drue Tranquill. So they're running both of these players. They have a late release from the tight end right here. He's going to block out first and then late release. This receiver is going to come up and over, and they're going to level this out with 2 over routes. So you have that concept going from right to left against the defense. And this is, again, where you see that miscommunication problem. So right here, Drue Tranquill, eyes down underneath. He's looking at this player right here, and he's going to pass off him to the opposite side. At least that's what he says he's going to do, right? So there's that hand. He's pointing off this way for number 16. And then you have it feels like man match a little bit, where Najee Johnson's in pursuit of number 16. I believe that's Troy Franklin. And he's going to try to go around Drue Tranquill because he's passing off underneath, and he thinks his responsibility still is to go with Franklin. And this is where you see Drew is going to turn and try to run with him. And then Najee Johnson runs right into him. He's going to try to run, with this player upfield right here. So you have this receiver come up around. This is what it looks like he's trying to do, is take the receiver that's bending around, and then Najee Johnson runs right into Drue Tranquill, and then you get 2 players that are wide open. So miscommunication problem underneath, and you end up with 4 defensive players in the same spot and 2 receivers wide open. So just some coverage busts, and not something you see a ton from this Steve Spagnuolo coach defense and then Dave Merritt. But this is another problem too. When you're Bo Nix, I mean, look at this. This is a pocket, right? You've got no issues. And honestly, Chris Jones, one-on-one against Quinn Miners, and just kind of stops. Not at the best look for Chris Jones, who was very good today in this football game, but he got blocked up right here. So just not guys winning one-on-ones and nothing really doing for you there. George Karlaftis wins late. That's really the name of his game. He's not going to win quick. He's going to win late. And you have to be able to get pressure early if you're going to stop plays like this from happening, because it is a little bit of a longer developing play. Specifically right here is what Bo Nix is looking for, right? Over the middle, you're going to get both Troutman and then Courtland Sutton going across. It takes a little bit longer because Troutman has that delayed release. So if you can get some pressure in his face right here, this probably doesn't happen. But also, I mean, if you don't run into each other, you never know what happens on that play. So I think you're probably still going to get Courtland Sutton open, but Adam Troutman open, because I think Drew would have run around with Courtland. But at the end of the day, it's hard to know because they ran into each other. But just that communication process there, where you're playing a little bit of a man match or zone match and trying to run with these players, it gets complicated at times. And that's part of the reason why Steve Spagnuolo's defense is so complex. There's so many different moving parts. I'm not going to show the play of Trent McDuffie getting toasted downfield. Everyone saw that. But I honestly just think that he got beat today. It happens. Courtland Sutton looks healthy. He looks really good. And you're playing a little bit of inside leverage here from Trent McDuffie, and Courtland Sutton's running underneath to the out. All right. This is what he wants to do. He's going to sell up the field, really inside, and he's going to come up to the point of the break point of the route, and he's going to hesitate slightly. And that takes Trent McDuffie out of the play, essentially. So right there, he releases outside. Right here, that little slight hesitation, and then the swim past. So he's slightly hesitates, and then he swims past to the out route part, and Trent McDuffie is still going upfield because he slightly pauses with him at the end of that route, that break point. So he's going upfield still, and that's where you see Courtland Sutton break off there. Trent McDuffie closes for the tackle on 2nd and 9. They get a first down. So multiple different times in this game, we saw Trent McDuffie get beat, whether it was on a route like this or an under route. That go route is what it is. But for the most part, it was just good route running, beat Trent McDuffie today. But overall, I don't think he had a bad game. He gave up the touchdown, yes, but he was still in position to make plays. We got a couple of different things to look at too, which we'll get to. But one thing I want to point out really quickly is Josh Uche right here off the edge, giving them a little bit of quick pressure up the right-hand side. Just nice job there. Again, doing his little shimmy shake right there, comes with two hands underneath, or excuse me, two hands extension. That left hand rips underneath. Really nice job to kind of get pressure there with a couple other players coming down there. So I think overall, this defense in the first half was tough, right? You've got a lot of miscommunications, you have coverage busts, and you've got a run defense that has been very good for large portions of the season. And then they were unable to really do that.
Want to tell you a little bit about our newest sponsor, Autograph. It's the greatest concept. It's a free app that curates all the best content for your Chiefs in one spot. And it lets you earn rewards for interacting with the content that you already want to watch. So check out Autograph. It's a free app download. You can get it at the link down below or use our code RGR when you do. And that helps us help you get the rewards that you deserve from Autograph.
We really appreciate them for sponsoring the show and sponsoring the channel as well. So please, guys, go check out that. Don't forget that every Friday when Ryan and I do the game plan, we also record a separate exclusive video for Autograph. It's a free app. You guys can go check that out prior to the games on Sunday. But this is what we're here for. We're here for the second half adjustments. How well did the Chiefs do in the second half to really hold them out of the end zone, hold them out of scoring range for the most part, and continuously find ways to get after Bo Nix? They did this all game long, really forcing him into different situations. And this is one of the bigger things early on that they did, was changing the picture, right? This is always fun to see Spags get in his bag a little bit. But when you've got players coming out like this, one, you have Drue Tranquill, looks like he's mugged up, like he might blitz. You also have Shamar Connor right here coming off the edge where it looks like he's going to. Then Nick Bolton is standing off like he's going to drop into his coverage, right? Wrong. You've got Nick Bolton is going to actually be blitzing. Shamar Connor backs off. Drue Tranquill backs off. And George Karlaftis backs off. So they're simulating a pressure here, trying to get some quick pressure in a different way and getting George Karlaftis into a really good zone, honestly. He does a fantastic job here just getting into his zone. So initially, what you see from Bo Nix is he thought he was going to get blitzed off that side. He's rotating to his back, right? So now where you have him come back around here where he thought pressure was going to be coming this way, right? He thought he was going to have some pressure off the side. So he's going to rotate back, right? And just do a little kind of half bootleg. But now no one's open. He doesn't have anywhere to go with the football because the defense showed him one thing and then took it all the way. So right now, as he's in his drop back, there's nobody open. And then we get a little bit of pressure off the right hand or left hand side of Bo Nix from Malik Herring. Then you've got Nick Bolton coming in late there, and they push him off the side. So that flat route to the outside left isn't an issue for them because they moved Bo Nix away from the blitz where he thought he was getting blitzed from. Didn't end up happening. And then you've got guys in their zones doing a good job just holding up fourth there. So, and then coming after Bo Nix right there just to get maybe 2 yards on a scramble, if that at all. So really nice job again, showing that you could be blitzing there, backing off Drue into a different zone as well as GK, and now you're seeing different things of what he saw earlier, and Bo Nix didn't really know what to do there. So good job from the Chiefs defense there. Really Malik Herring getting pressure off the edge there. This is a really good move, pass rush move for him. He's playing against a tight end, so it doesn't really matter right there. Just kind of extend, rip underneath through and by. That's what you want to see from a defensive end who's playing against a tight end. So anytime you see a matchup with a defensive end and a tight end, you want to take advantage of that. And they did a good job there. And then overall, they were better versus the run. I mentioned earlier, the longest rush they had in the second half, the Broncos that was 8 yards. And this is a large reason why. Yes, they were unable to really get more pressure in the backfield, but they did a much better job of extension. So you saw Shamari Connor be the one get the tackle right there. But look what he's doing against a wide receiver. This is what you want. He's going to have eyes in the backfield, right? Where's that ball going? And then the off DB, Najee Johnson, who was very good in the run, in my opinion, in this football game. He's getting more confident, it feels like. This is what you want to see from him. Come down and force that running back inside. Shamari Connor, it gets off the block of the wide receiver and makes a tackle for a 2-yard gain. That you have to have everybody contributing. Really, Trent McDuffie has done a great job in run defense. We've seen Josh Williams come down, hit, prior, L'Jarius Sneed, Chamari Connor, not Chamari Connor, even Chamari Connor, as well as Tarvarius Ward in previous iterations of this defense. To play DB in this defense, you have to be able to come uphill, downhill, and tackle and support in the run game. So you've got eyes in the backfield from everybody, really just kind of looking, trying to see where Estime is going to go. This is a really nice job from Connor, also knowing he's going to have outside help from Najee Johnson because of that play recognition factor right there. He even kind of goes out there with him initially, but really nice job staying with that outside hand, firm at the point of attack with the wide receiver, and then stays in that gap so that Estime can't go anywhere. So overall, they were much more stout against the run, and they just played with much better play recognition and attacking downhill. That's really what you want to see. And when you saw them be more assignment sound in the second half of football games, this is where you get that, right? They played with a higher energy level. They saw the plays come through, and they were really patient. They weren't overextending themselves. They were identifying it. So you have McLaughlin's coming out of the backfield. Then they're going to kind of twirl around, right? Just to give you a false look. So right there, twirl around. You've got we've seen the Chiefs do this a ton with their wide receivers. Most notably was Tyreek Hill in previous iterations, but they've done it with, I believe they've still done it with Xavier Worthy, McCole Hardman, things like that, where they try to get them in defense moving one way and then get you coming back around this way. But this is exactly what you want to see. Chris Jones identifies that, and he's going to be in pursuit. GK does the same thing. But this is where I want to really pay attention because, like I said, Trent McDuffie didn't have his best day in coverage. He wasn't like awful in coverage. He was just beat a few times by Courtland Sutton. This is where you want, and you really notice he's one of the best corners in the NFL. He comes down, and then he's going to work the block back to the line of scrimmage. Work it back. And now he's getting down the line. So he also knows, as a player, when you have these pursuit angles from your defensive players, so you've got Chris Jones coming down, you have GK coming down here, just keep outside leverage. And he does a great job keeping that outside leverage and forcing Marvin Mims to have to find a way around where he makes GK miss right here, but then there's Trent McDuffie for the tackle. So all in all, I think in the second half, they came much more focused. They, like I said, they saw these play recognitions happening. They were able to really get after the Denver Broncos in the run game, in the misdirection game, things like that, really take advantage of their ability to stay sound in what they do. And this Chris Jones, once again, going outside with that initial push and then swiping away underneath. George Karlaftis is being unblocked as he comes around here and kind of closes. Look at this little fake move, right? You have a blocker coming around right there to try and block you, but he just steps underneath it, and then he goes into pursuit right away. That's smart play from George Karlaftis, but he's always been an effort player. You can really get outside right there, and he knows that he has the speed to cover down that line. So that's just a fantastic job of playing your responsibility. He's an edge player. He's waiting to see where that ball goes, and he does a really great job of just identifying that, knowing that it hasn't gone to the opposite side, and then staying in your lane. And then Jones, again, doing the same thing, recognizing that ball's coming back around. So all in all, when they can continuously be as productive as they are, I really do think that this is one of the best three defenses in the NFL. And like we mentioned, Chris Jones, the sack numbers aren't there for him this season. It's not really all his fault. This is a big reason why. When he gets one-on-one matchups, look, he just wins so quickly. I know he got Quinn Miners got him pretty good later in this football game, but this is just why he's not getting those sacks. This ball just gets thrown away by Bo Nix. It's just thrown away, and there's nobody home. It's just in the direction of one of his receivers. So when you're consistently throwing the football away like that, Chris Jones is going to have a hard time doing it, but he was creating a lot of pressure in this game and really being an impactful player as he continues to be. And I think as the season gets longer, as the Chiefs maybe get more guys that can win quickly, and hopefully Josh Uche comes along, you get Charles Omenihu back, then you'll have less one-on-one or less 2-on-1 situations or 3-on-1 situations for Chris Jones, and he'll be able to get some more sacks. But overall, like we talked about with the play style, there's a couple of players that I really want to mention. FAU is one of them. He had multiple effort plays and high intelligent plays, a couple of really big flashes with his get off today. But this is the most important one right here, where he's not blocked. They're going to run this split zone action, and he gets to Bo Nix in the backfield, and he just stays with him. That's perfect. It's exactly how you want it run. And what I mean by split zone read option is they're just going to run this offensive zone play where the run is going to look like it's going on to the right. You've got that split zone feel right here, 45 coming back across. That's how he splits the zone right there. And then it's read option. So he's going to hand off, at least fake the handoff to the running back. And this is where you get to see Felix kind of operate, right? He's waiting on the football. He doesn't over pursue. He doesn't do anything wrong. He waits exactly for what he's doing, or for waiting exactly for what he's supposed to on that football. I keep hitting that button. I'm sorry, guys. That's the second time I've done it. I really wish they were closer to closer or further away from each other because I don't want it there. But regardless, right here, this is what you like to see. So he condenses down. He gets down the line. It's exactly what he's supposed to do. Eyes on the quarterback on that mesh point right there. And he's being read too. He knows he's being read. So right there, good job. Bo Nix thinks that he can outbeat him in any athletic situation. Well, he's wrong. And he does a really great job there of staying with him. And watch Nick Bolton as he comes across and gets underneath the block from the wide receiver. It just kind of stays with him too, backs him up there. Again, Felix is not getting sacks. He's not playing a ton anymore in terms of being a starter with Mike Dana back and Josh Uche now being in the fold, but he's making regular plays. He's doing everything that is being asked of him. He's shown strength and gotten a lot stronger. I think his play recognition is better. So each week he's getting incrementally better. And this is really where the adjustments came down to right now. The last two plays we're going to talk about are the blitzes. This I had to include the countdown right down here because of how the Chiefs set this up. This is the sack of Bo Nix by Nick Bolton. And now they're just moving guys around, right? You've got Brian Cook here, Justin Reed kind of hanging around, Nick Bolton hanging around, then everybody else out here just kind of showing man coverage, right? It just feels like you're going to get blitzed no matter what. And then they've got Drew Tranquill down here. This is, I believe, what they call all dogs, where every linebacker blitzes, and they also bring Justin Reed. I mean, this is fire zone, whatever you want to call it, all out blitz, engage 8. You've got man coverage on the outside, everybody one-on-one, and then it's just all dogs out. This is so well done because they bring down Justin Reed late, right? He's lurking. So what does that do? Well, I think initially what we see is when you have him mugged up here and him mugged up here, this double A gap, there's nowhere that these guys can match up. They're bringing more than you can block. And I think what happened here is, regardless, I mean, it would have been Justin Reed or Nick Bolton, but you have the running back comes across here, right? He hopes maybe he can pull him off and then you can get the quarterback to maybe come outside the pocket that way. Regardless, he has to make a decision and he chooses Justin Reed, and then you have Nick Bolton just go straight down. This is just a fun, creative blitz. And when you are coming out here and doing a good job moving the football, I think Steve Spagnuolo said, no, we're going to make sure this doesn't happen anymore. And then just take advantage of the fact that it's a little bit of a third and long situation, which is another thing that Steve Spagnuolo wants to do. He wants to get you in those third and long situations. So this has to happen because those routes, they take longer. They take longer because you have to get the ball down the field to convert on third down. And then this was one of the last blitzes that we saw from Steve Spagnuolo before the what should have been, quote unquote, game-winning drive by the Denver Broncos. This right here is a really fantastic opening blitz where we've seen them do this quite a few times with Trent McDuffie. This time they're going to send Justin Reed coming down, and then they're going to open up this gap with George Karlaftis. You're going to send player there, but they're also going to double up on that B gap and send Najee Johnson as well. On the opposite side, you've got Josh Uche, who's standing up, looking like he's going to blitz right here, come on this way. Not blitz, but, rush. But he's actually going to drop into zone. Same with Nick Bolton right there. So you've got players that are showing one thing, doing another, right? And then you get that double open. So it's simulated where you have now a double team on the middle right here. Because I mean, it's empty, right? You've got a blocker out here on Chris Jones, but there's nobody else in the backfield. So you don't have anyone that can pick up Justin Reed. And that's why you also send double that way. In case one of these players comes off of the middle, you can get Najee Johnson now free to rush as well. So no matter what, this ball was going to be incomplete because of the design of the blitz. When you're able to create mismatches and problems, again, you're just hoping you get a double team right here. But this is why you risk reward versus empty, right? Chris Jones off the edge. Josh Uche drops into coverage. And then they get Najee Johnson and Justin Reed coming home free. So when you're able to, again, do what Steve Spagnuolo does and adjust the way that he does throughout the game and create all of these advantages for not just your defense, but for what should be getting the ball back to your offense, that's why Steve Spagnuolo was here, outside of the trust factor that Andy Reid has in him. So all these things being said, the Denver Broncos had about a quarter where they moved the ball almost at will, and then that final drive at the end of the game. But the effort that they played with, they never gave up. They were able to make those adjustments in the second half to keep the game close enough for the Chiefs to take the lead 16-14. And then at the very end of the day, Dave Toub and everyone there did a fantastic job with scheming that up. And I know that the way that you're supposed to block on kicks like that, the offensive line does have, I believe, is kind of taught to fall down so that you can trip up everybody else, right? But they did a great job of funneling guys into that left side of the offensive line and just continuing to go after it. And if you watched the breakdown of that Dan Orlovsky did, you could see that throughout the game, every time they kicked it, they kept doing the same thing and going and getting after it. So they knew they were going to have an opportunity to block that kick. So the way these guys played. Also, shout out to Jaden Hicks, who I think played a very good game, is going to continue to get more involved in the defense. You're going to see some of these young guys continue to get better. I think Najee Johnson's getting more confident. The snaps where I saw Josh Williams play, he was getting a little bit better. He was more comfortable too. So I think all in all, they're starting to get on the right track. And some of these quarters where you see an offense move the football quite a bit, it's not going to happen all the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of seeing why the Broncos were able to do what they did early in games and how the Chiefs adjusted, got back to their play, and really took it to the Denver Broncos offense. And please, if you guys are new to the RGR channel, hit that sub button right now. We're going to continue to have more content for you guys. Gary will have his video for you guys tomorrow. Ryan and I will be back on Friday to give you the game plan. And don't forget to check out Autograph, where you can get all of your content, all your Chiefs content, get rewards for doing it. And then we have an exclusive piece that will go up this weekend, getting some X factors from the Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. Well, everyone, please have a great rest of your day.